Welcome to STRAT-O-MATIC Baseball, a leisure site dedicated to STRAT-O-MATIC Baseball, the original fantasy baseball. Video number 1. What is STRAT-O-MATIC Baseball? It is a dice rolling game of chance that comes out every year based on a real player's real abilities from that particular season. You can find this game at STRAT-O-MATIC.com, or you can find sets of it at Amazon. And now they have an online version called Baseball Max, which is a subscription version, about $15 a month. So that's where you can find it. But I'm going to be talking about the non-digital, the hand version or whatever. So what's included in this? Well, obviously you get the box. Then you get the sheet of 9 cards, a stack of them, which have each individual players and their abilities. Obviously, you have to take time to separate them before you can play the game. And then you have dice. You have 3 6-sided dice with a 20-sided dice. And then you have those 4 little plastic pieces that you use with this baseball mat. But I don't use them because I use a magnetic dry erase board to keep track of stuff. So it comes with strategies. You can it's got the basic strategy, advanced strategy, and super advanced strategy. And in these strategies, you can steal, hit and run, sacrifice, squeeze play. If you're on defense, you can hold runners. You can have the infield in. If it's the very last out of the game, you can have the outfield in. So you can do that. You also have a fielding charts, which are basically player errors abilities. Again, you have the basic fielding chart, and then you have the advanced fielding chart, and you have the super advanced fielding chart. And then you have the rules. And here in this picture on the left is the rules from 1986. You can see that they have become much more in-depth and more complicated a little bit. You'll notice the cards on the left there, they're in blue and black. And then on the back side, they're in blue. And if you have, like, back then when 1927, you couldn't do a super advanced or an advanced version of it. So that is what's included. Again, let's talk about the cards and the dice. You have cards that comes in sheets of 9, and they're double-sided cards. So what you see on the left gets broken down to these 3 cards, which gets down to the individual cards. And if you'll notice, the dice, the red one, stands for the numbers up top. And then you read down the column, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. So once you get your starting pitcher picked up and your lineup, you're ready to play the game. Okay, now we're ready to go into the details about the card. First thing I want to point out is it comes with the team name and the year and the stats for that year for both the batter and the pitching card. And then it has the players' positions and their range in the basic. The range being 1 through 5, 1 being really good range, 5 being really bad range. And if you notice in the super advanced, it has a little bit more information. Like you'll see an E3 there and an E10. It goes into a little bit more detail. The pitcher card shows what kind of pitcher it is, starter, closer, sometimes both. This one, in this case, it has the starter for 8 innings, but you can get one as a relief pitcher, and if it has a closer, it'll tell you whether it can do that or not. It has also the other abilities. In the basic version at the top, you see stealing AAA, which is actually quite rare. This is a specialized card, so I made myself look really good. Running also. But in the super advanced, you can either play with the letter rating or these information to the right of it is either a good lead, bad lead kind of stuff, which I'm not getting into today. And then you have the bunting ability and the hit and run ability, and again, the running ability. For the pitcher, you have the balk number, a wild pitch number, obviously the pitcher's range, and then whether he throws right or left, and his ability to hold. Now, the bunting one I don't play with because I play with the DH, but if you were to have your pitcher bat, you can use him to bunt also. So, looking at the dice and reading the card, the dice says 1-7. If you were playing the basic version, before we get to that, on the batter's card it's 1-2-3. That's the red dice, and then the 4-5-6 is on the pitcher's card. So if you were reading this dice for this particular roll, on the basic version, it would be a triple. No, it would be a single. And if it was on the super advanced version, it would be a triple. So that's how you read that. And of course, there's other readings on the card, which I won't go into. But the more advanced version is you can have ballpark effects like that omega symbols, clutch, and stuff like that. The asterisk is whether it's if runners advance 2 bases or 1 base, or you have the option of advancing bases if there isn't anything. And on the pitcher's card is where we find the X, which is the fielding ones. So you have strategy. So if we were to if you wanted to do a hit and run or a squeeze play or something like that, you roll the 2 dice and you come over the 7. Those would be the answers to the thing. But if you want to play on the advanced version, then the answer would be equivalent underneath their ability. So like if you're going to do a sacrifice, his bunting ability is an A, so you go down the A column and so forth. And if you're going to do a hit and run, he's under the B column, so forth for that. So in fielding, same thing. You got the position and the range. So on this picture on the right, in the yellow, you see the basic version for the pitcher. It would be an out 3, whatever the out 3 says at the bottom of the chart. Or in this case, if it was to the third base, we'd have to know what his range was. Based on his range, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, whichever, that would be the outcome. Now, fielding in the advanced version, if you'll notice that there is no 7 in the split, so you have to go to the E number. The E number in this case is 12, and then you'd have to roll the 20-sided die. In this case, it was a 3, and so it'd be an error, 1 base error. Stealing, very basic version and advanced versions, pretty similar. Their success range is based on if you roll within the safe range. And there's other things to it, like holding and stuff, but I won't talk about those today. So this is my setup. Okay, I use just a tray that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I glued down some green felt paper or whatever. And in the back, I have the outfield wall of the home team with the ballpark effects for single and home runs. And then I like to use the advanced fielding chart. I have a photo box for each of my team with the labels and the records and stuff like that. And then I play with the multiple versions of dice for different reasons. I'll go into it in a later video. But then I have a pitcher stand, just a business card stand that I use. I found that it'd be very helpful to use because I would, in the past, read off the wrong card on accident. Then you notice I have a red pen there, and behind the pitcher stand is a blue pen. My visitor side is always the red, and this sheet is double-sided, and on the back side of it's blue, which I use for home team. And I do that because it helps keep me from filling in the wrong outcome for the wrong player. So, and then I have a poster strategy that I created. It's a 13 by 19. I basically took that rule books and all the outcomes and all the versions of level versions that I play, and I put the answers there for quick reference. And there's one thing that the Strat-O-MATIC doesn't have, and that's the ability for a guy that's fast that can bunt well to bunt for a hit. And the major league average is actually around 400%, 400. And so I developed it. I've got to tweak it a little bit, but I developed that, and I love playing with it. So where do you purchase Strat-O-MATIC? Well, obviously you can play it. You can buy it at STRAT-O-MATIC.com, and then you can also get a couple of copies at Amazon. So the big boy is about $70. It comes with all the teams and 25, 26 other players, something like that. And so you can buy it that way, and all the pieces that you need to do it. If you already have the pieces, then you can buy just the cards that you want from a particular year. If you want all of them, all the teams, you can do it that way. Or if you want, you can get specialized teams like the Hall of Fame set or the Negro Leagues. You got the Diamond Gems, the greatest teams from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. The 70s, 80s, and 90s has 2 sets. I originally bought my first version of it in 1986, so I got the 1985 Royals and Cardinals and all those teams. Well, by buying the 80s version B set, I was able to upgrade my Royals team, so that's pretty cool. And I do have the Hall of Fame players also, and there's some hero teams and stuff like that. Best players of a generation. And one of the things I love about this non-digital version is I can create my own teams. I've got like my own 3 different versions of Hall of Fame teams and a vilified team, which has all those great players that can't make it into the Hall. So, yeah. You can also buy a selector set, which is much cheaper. You get 5 teams and all the game pieces. It's probably the cheapest way to start. And then you can also get an individual team for $3. Now the shipping's a little high, but you can, if the year is available, you can get them. And lastly, you can get a personalized card. They're about $10. Now, these cards are personalized. You can get them based on your own baseball or softball stats, or if you do what I'm doing, create my own super team called the STRAT-O-MATIC and have cards based on that. So purchase options again. Okay. One last thing about purchasing, I encourage you to use protection. If you notice this picture on the right, you see it's in a plastic sleeve. You can go to this website called Clear Bags, and you can actually get anywhere from 100 to 1,000 or more of these clear bags that allows you to insert your playing cards to help protect them. And one last thing, I just want to tell you briefly how I came about this game. I was a sophomore in high school. I was in a math class, and the kid in front of me was playing it, and he introduced it to me. And so when I got a job that summer, my very first paycheck, I went to White Lake Mall, to KB store, and bought my very first version of the game, which you see on the right. And so, yep, I've had the game for, 30 years, 20 years, I don't know. And so the next video is going to be about my 3 likes and 3 dislikes. And until then, this is STRAT-O-MATIC Baseball. And I exist to, or it exists to shine light and increase the popularity of Strat-O-Matic baseball. Visit STRAT-O-MATIC.com for your game. And thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe. Hit the bell. And, of course, this video is not sponsored by Peanuts or nor Cracker Jacks. But thank you for watching.